Version 1.2 Part 2 is upon us. We are less than a week away now, and of course that means we're getting Kafka. But we're also getting somebody else, another character that a lot of people are excited about. I can honestly point out one in particular being the anime athlete, aka Carly, because she loves her red-headed himbo boxing boy, and that's going to be Luka. So today we're going to be talking about what you need to ascend him from level 1 to level 90, and of course some possible builds that could really work with him. But before we get into that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out, and of course leave a comment. We'd love to hear your guys' opinions. Also, don't forget, check out Gamer Subs. Yes, use the code TYSTRA for 10% off of your next Gamer Subs order. Link is in the description. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it. As you can see, we do have Luka's stuff up right now. He is part of the Nihility Path, which is a debuff damage over time type of thing. Applies debuffs to enemies to reduce their combat capabilities. He's also a physical element unit, so yeah, it's pretty dope. We are getting a lot of Nihility units, as I pointed out before, I believe in my Kafka video, where I said that we were getting, we got Silver Wolf, we got, Kafka here, or previous, and now we got Luka. Sorry, I'm very stuttery right now. So we do have a lot of Nihility, which is, it works really, really well. Damage over time is fantastic. So let's go ahead and talk about ascending from level 1 to level 9, or to level 90. What you're going to need is as follows. The biggest thing is going to be these, the Broken Tech of Iron Wolf, which you get from the Stagnants. Now, I said corrosive before in the Kafka video, and I do apologize, but it's the Stagnant Shadows, and this is the boss fight that you need to do will show specifically for Broken Teeth of Iron Wolf. You're gonna need 50 of these, and if you're on the highest difficulty, you get about 5 for each run, so 10 runs of it, and you're good to go. Now, let's talk about these items here, the Ancient Part, the Ancient Spindle, and of course the Ancient Engine, sorry. Now these you get from enemies that drop from certain areas. You need 4 of these Ancient Parts, you need 13 Ancient Spindles, and 12 Ancient Engines. Now you need 3 of the parts to make a spindle, and 3 spindles to make an engine. Now, you cannot get these outside of, drops, and you can synchronize them to make the higher options, obviously, but that's about it. Now let's go ahead and move on to Traces, because Traces is a little bit more of a grind. First things first, let's talk about the new item, the Obsidians of Dread, the Obsidians of Desolation, and of course the Obsidian of Obsession. These can get from the red line calxes that actually drop these. Now you're going to need 12 of the Obsidians of Dread, you're going to need 54 of the Obsidians of Desolation, and 105 of the Obsidians of Obsession. Now, again, as we talked about before, 3 of these Obsidians of Dread make a Desolation, and 3 of the Desolations make an Obsession. Now, this is going to be a long grind. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, be ready for that. It's probably going to take you like 1 to 2 weeks of hard grinding, to be honest. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Ancient Parts again. So we need 28 more of the Ancient Parts, we need 42 of the Ancient Spindles, and 42 more of the Ancient Engines. And then alongside that, we are going to need this item right here, the Regret of Infinite Ochema, which you get from fighting Fantilia, the new weekly world boss. Once you've unlocked her, I highly recommend it because you can get up to 3 of these with each run. Do it for 1 week, you do your 3 runs, you're almost there. And then of course you're also going to need 5 of these Tracks of Destiny. So make sure you've been saving if you want to awaken him to his fullest. Now overall, as you can see as well, you're going to need, I think it's 4.6 million credits, which is a lot, especially when you have to rank up everything and you're also ranking up your other characters. So just be ready for that. It's a little bit harder on the credit grind. Now, let's go ahead and talk about his abilities really quick, right? So we have a skill, the Lacerating Fist. Now, bear in mind, his whole thing is revolved around bleed as your damage over time. So Lacerating Fist, the skill, energy regeneration 30, weakness break, single target as 60, deals physical damage equal to 150% of Luka's attack to a single enemy target. In addition, there is a 100% base chance to inflict bleed on them, lasting for 3 turns. While bleeding, the enemy will take 24% of their max HP as physical DOT at the start of each turn. This damage will not exceed more than 422.5% of Luka's attack. That's pretty bonkers. Now, let's go ahead and look at some bonus traces here. Kinetic Overload, when you get it, when the skill is used, immediately dispels one buff from the enemy target. And then, of course, you have all those juicy details. Now, let's go into the ultimate, the Coup de Grace, which is a energy regeneration of 5, weakness break to single target 90. So he's mainly going to be focusing on single targets, so be wary of that. Receives 2 stacks of Fighting Will, with a 100% base chance to increase a single enemy target's damage received by 24% for 3 turns. Then deals physical damage equal to 396% of Luka's attack to a target. His talent, Flying Sparks. After Luka uses his basic attack Direct Punch or skill Lacerating Fist, he receives 1 stack of Fighting Will, up to 4 stacks. When he has 2 or more stacks of Fighting Will, his basic attack Direct Punch is enhanced to Sky Shatter Fist. After his enhanced basic attack Rising Uppercut hits a bleeding enemy target, the bleed status will immediately deal damage to 1 time equal to 93.5% of the original damage to the target. At the start of the battle, Luka will possess 1 stack of Fighting Will. Why this is important is because Fighting Will is going to be something that's his basis around the whole kit, and then being able to inflict bleed ASAP is going to increase that damage over time, which is exactly what you want. Bonus traces, Cycle Breaking. For every stack of Fighting Will obtained, additionally regenerates 3 energy, so you could be getting up to 12 energy every time. And then, of course, you have your Eidolons, which affect you. So we're going to go ahead and look over all the Eidolons real quick. Now, remember, your Eidolons 3 and 5 are going to be enhancing your skills and ultimates, so don't worry about that too much. Eidolon number 1, Fighting Endlessly. When Luka takes action, if the target enemy is bleeding, increases damage dealt by Luka by 15% for 2 turns. The enemy is weak, I am strong for Eidolon 2. If the skill hits an enemy target with physical weakness, gain 1 stack of Fighting Will. So that's an extra stack as you did go, which is dope. Never Turning Back, your Eidolon 4. For every stack of Fighting Will obtained, increases the attack by 5%, stacking up to 4 times. So you can not only get 12 energy, but you could also get 20% attack. That's pretty freaking dope. And then, of course, Eidolon 6, a Champion's Applause. After the enhanced basic attack, Rising Uppercut hits a bleeding enemy target, the bleed status will immediately deal damage 1 time equal to 8% of the original damage for every hit of Direct Punch already unleashed during the current enhanced basic attack, which is pretty big. Honestly, I don't think you need Eidolon 6 to be effective, but you have that. Now let's go ahead and talk about some possible light cones. Now again, this is just speculation. I could be wrong on a couple of these, and a lot of these are going to be very reflective of our last guide because it is the Nihility path, but let's go ahead and dive in. In the Name of the World, the 5-star, increases the wearer's damage to debuffed enemies by 24%. When the wearer uses their skill, the effect hit rate for the attack increases by 18% and attack increased by 24%. You really want to capitalize on that attack percentage, so it makes sense to run this light cone. Eyes of the Prey is another one that we saw in our previous guide. Increases the wearer's effect hit rate by 20% and increases damage over time by 24%. Since bleed is going to do damage over time, it's best that you actually use that. Now, this is a new one that is actually Luka's. This is the Resolution Signs, a Purist of Sweat. I hope I said that right. When the wearer hits an enemy, and if the hit enemy is not already ensnared, there is a 60% base chance to ensnare the hit enemy. Ensnared enemy's defense decreases by 12% for 1 turn. Reason why this is actually pretty good is because this will help out your damage over time as well, so it kind of makes sense to use it. And then, of course, the last one, Good Night and Sleep Well, which is one of the light cones that we used before. For every debuff the character or the target enemy has, the damage dealt by the wearer is increased by 12%, stacking up to 3 times. This effect also applies to damage over time. Big money numbers. Now, as we've talked about before, like a lot of these were reminiscent of our Kafka guide, and I kind of have to say it's the same thing with relics as well. The only difference is we're going to talk about Champion of Streetwise Boxing. Now, the reason why this is important is the 2-piece increases physical damage by 10%, and the 4-piece, after the wearer attacks or is hit, their attack is increased by 5% for the rest of the battle. This effect can stack up to 5 times, so up to 25% extra attack on top of that. So that's really dope. And again, we've talked about Musketeer's Wild Weed so many times. 2-piece attack increases by 12%. 4-piece, the wearer's speed increases by 6%, and the basic attack damage increases by 10%. You can also run a 2 and 2 for both of these, but I would highly not do that. So, and then of course, the best one, in my opinion, for Nihility is the Space Sealing Station. The 2-piece increases the wearer's attack by 12%. When the wearer's speed reaches 120 or higher, the wearer's attack increases by an extra 12%. What does that mean? Well, with Luka, your main stats that you're going to be worrying about are exactly like Kafka's. Attack percentage, speed, energy recharge, and of course, what was the other one that I put on there? But those are the main three. To be quite honest, you would want to run those. You could also do effect hit rate. Obviously, you want to make sure you get that, or even break effect hit rate, break hit rate, or break whatever rate, whatever you want to call it. Break effect rate. That's what it is. I think it is. But I digress. The main focuses, again, are attack and speed, because you want to capitalize on everything that you're doing when it comes to your damage over time, and the speed increase that you're going to get from Space Sealing Station. Well, not speed increase, but attack increase. So you want to capitalize on that. Overall, Luka looks like he's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to run a Nihility team, because I really want to try out running all Nihility units and just watch the DOT just go like crazy. But Luka looks like he's going to be a lot of fun. I know that a lot of my friends, a lot of my female friends are really waiting for a new Himbo, and I think they got it with Luka. Now, of course, team, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to entertain you. We will be back again with another Honkai Star Rail video very, very soon. Of course, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and like and subscribe. If you haven't done it already, do it. We're trying to reach 2K by the end of the year. So anyways, y'all, that's gonna be it. Love you all to death. And as always, we'll catch you all in the next video. Take care, be safe.